Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Today, day number 297. Going to be a special night tonight, and we're so thankful that all of you are here. 9 o'clock Eastern, actually 9:01 Eastern, 4:01 a.m. in Ukraine, 6:01 p.m. in California, and everything is ready to go. We're fired up and kicking. So thank you. You're going to get the leg update, and tonight, as always, when we can do these Q&As on this Saturday night, please feel free to drop a question in there. I'm pulling in some chat from multiple locations. I don't get it all, but definitely, if you want to ask a question, try to pop over to YouTube and pop it there. If not, other locations I'm trying to pull in. So thank you for being here as always, and special thanks to our mods and all of you who were so faithful. All right, let's get to it. Tonight is going to be video out the wazoo. We have lots of video, which I think is very enjoyable to watch. You see the translations. We're going to paint a whole picture for you tonight, have you fully updated as well. If you have any questions, pop them in there. With that said, good morning to you.
Good evening to you, friends.
4:02 a.m. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, praise God.
Good. You look good.
Thank you.
So first question in here, Medic Trevor, of course, is here for the leg update. So let's start with that. How's the leg?
Everything's getting better. I have a great day. Thank you.
Okay. What about the addition you have to your right there?
This one?
Yeah. Show everybody. High tech.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pair of high tech. Yeah.
He's got the crutches rolling. You did have to make an adventure today because your son lost his keys and then locked the van. And unfortunately, we have to tell people you had to go down 16 flights of steps or up 16 flights of steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I was jumping up on the one leg, not because of my son, but because Russia is a terrorist country.
That's correct, and a great way to look at it. Big hellos to everybody in here. I see you tonight. Jeremy Teeple up there in Canada, bless you. Chuck Pinkham out in California. Ro Gammon, hello to you, Ro, down in Richmond, Virginia. God bless you. Midlothian to be specific. Jeffrey Burnett, one of our moderators, reported, watched a report. I'll pop it up here. Watched a report on recycled biplanes Russia may use. They have at least 1,000 on hand, 75-year-old craft. Good luck to them. Going to show you some anti-aircraft deterrence from that here tonight. JDO, welcome to you, sir. Lynn Fireball down there in Virginia. Harold, Mr. Baseball. Linda Cassio, welcome to you. Janet Smith, Carl Elwell, Mr. Vegas, Las Vegas. Typically, he'll say, good evening from Vegas, baby. So, Carl Elwell, welcome to you. Paul Kiss, our resident Canadian Pennsylvanian, welcome to you. Ricochet, God bless you. Don Gentilini. Medic Trevor said that's a workout. Eric Wood, Elizabeth City, North Carolina, welcome to you. Now, okay, we got to start right here. Don Gentilini says, like PGPZ, I've climbed the stairs of those high-rise apartments in the dark, praying I could find my friends, not military, but all civilians Putin is targeting. Yes, he is. So, I think Don is over on YouTube. So, Don, if you are still in YouTube, type, I am here. That's all I'm going to say. If you're still in YouTube, Don, type, I am here. So thank you all for being here. That's the update. If you have questions, pop them in there. I'm doing my best to watch everything. Let's start with Kryvyi Rih tonight. All right. Before we start with Kryvyi Rih, Don Gentilini's here.
Okay.
Don Gentilini worked in the Eastern European region, former Iron Curtain era, Soviet Union. So when you guys on this program see this man, are you eating candy bar?
No.
Okay. When you see this man posting, you need to pay attention to it. He worked in that Iron Curtain era. He knows Soviet mentality, probably even better than us because he's older than us. But something special going on for this man. So I received a message and we're going to do it. Are you ready? День рождения тебя.
Тебя, днем рождения
Рождения
тебя,
тебя. Днем
днем
рождения тебя.
рождения.
Happy birthday, Don Gentilini. There we go. Now we can get started. Okay. Zhenya, are Ukrainian soldiers educated about how to and not to give initial help with civilians with frozen body parts before field medical help arrives? Sorry, I could word this in a more pleasant way.
I'm sure they do, especially special forces. I'm sure about that. There's a lot of NATO standard trainings for the military. More and more regularly comes more and more, so I'm sure about that.
The medics are fantastic. You know, you were serving as a medic. You have your uniform, you just don't pull it out. In Maidan 2014. So the level of medical training there is high. I remind people that Zhenya originally, when he was a young man, was studying to be a doctor and went through medical school and went a different pathway. So, yeah, that's the answer to that. Let's go here and let's start with, let's go to this one first. This is fully interactive tonight. That one, Kryvyi Rih.
Mm-hmm.
We have updated numbers: 4 dead, 13 wounded. Last night we were talking about the 1.5-year-old child that they were still looking for. They found the baby and it had been killed. So 3 of the dead were babies, basically children, and 1 64 or 66, somewhere in the 60s-year-old woman. I want tonight to show you what it's like talking about rescue, talking about medics. Lots of video tonight. Everything we're going to talk about has video, and we're going to start with this. This was the rescue operation, and for this one, you're going to see them pull a little girl out of the rubble in Kryvyi Rih last night.
Давай, да, медвежонка сюда. Давай. Вылазь. Стены не трогай. Аккуратно.
Be careful.
Давай, аккуратно под стеночкой. Сейчас, иди сюда. Давай. Между мной и деревом. Давай, проходи. Берись аккуратно, стри под ноги. Под стеночкой. Давай. И туда прыгай, вниз. Все, аккуратно. Целая. Проходи, спускайся вниз. Родители там будут. Давай вниз.
Got her little stuffed animal, and that's what happens on the rescues. They do an amazing work, but it's ridiculous that we have to be rescuing children sleeping in the middle of the night. Crazy. But they were able to get that family out. That's just random. Those people just sleeping, and next thing you know, you're buried alive. So that's what that is. Bakhmut is going to be in the news, of course, going forward. President Zelensky speaks about Bakhmut, and that's the piece of video that we will show. Here's Medic Trevor. This is his medic area of expertise. That's incredibly technical to do correctly. I'd say the technical level of Ukrainian rescuers has increased due to having to do it daily.
Yeah, and probably I would add the next thing that at this moment, the biggest need for helping people in that area, it's a transport, proper transport, because the Russians are, I mean, they're targeting volunteers transport, medic transport, fire rescues, any. So in most of situation, like, okay, let's take Bakhmut. We started from Bakhmut now. The battle's going right now on the edge of that place, and no electricity there, and etc. But still, from 5 and up to, by some sources, up to 10,000 people stays there, and people and our guys are asking non-stop, please let us help to be evacuated for you. I mean, to evacuate you from the Bakhmut. But people, I mean, they're choosing, okay, we want to stay here, we want to stay here with no, I mean, I don't know the reasons. They have it sometimes own point of view. And I don't know what we will have, I mean, in the next steps, because right now, in the middle of Bakhmut already, our guys doing it, I mean, digging the trenches right in the central streets.
I'm going to type a question in.
Okay.
You ready? And that goes in with what you're talking about. So here we can see the pink where Russia is pushing around. They do not control it completely, but they do have the largest presence there. The green in that city that you see there basically is being leveled. Every building, every block, it's being completely destroyed, wiped out. And the west side is where people are holding up. So for Ukraine, Jania, I have my own question. Is it possible to forcefully evacuate or mandate an evacuation in Ukraine?
Yes. From officially, there is a statement that you have to leave. It's like there is, but in reality, nobody will be breaking people and physically dragging them out of their places.
So
that's it.
Correct. Okay, well, that's where we're at. That's the Bakhmut update. And as I told you tonight, when we close out, we're going to hear from President Zelensky, and you'll get an update from him. Third thing I want to go to is drones. And then I'm going to show you a sample of Ukrainian air defense working on the last attack. Drones now are being fired not as much from Crimea, but actually from the Russian mainland. That is the image to your left. We do know there was confirmation today that a new batch, I think Ukraine calls them a new party of Shaheeds or other types of drones, have been delivered to Russia. They are there, confirmed as of today. And we see that Russia is now firing drones from the Russian mainland across from the Kerch Bridge there where you see that map. Why are they doing that? Two reasons. Number one, it's safer because Ukraine is able to hit Crimea. And secondly, it's easier for Iran to bring supply. They bring it up to the Caspian Sea. They can ship it right up the Caspian Sea, bring it back into the port of Russia, as you see that red line, and bring it right to the launching spot. It makes it much, much easier. And of course, they are also transporting by cargo and by air. So now there's multiple routes to get direct transport from Iran straight to Russia. So that is why that's happening. Now, let me show this video and then we'll get your thoughts, because they're already talking about in Kyiv in just the last few hours how they expect another wave of attacks even within the next few days. Why? Because today, air alarms were raised throughout Ukraine. In fact, the entire nation was red because all of the reconnaissance airplanes were in the air. And I think it was Arestovich gave a technical breakdown of what they do. Those planes go in the air, they run the routes, they run the reconnaissance. But he said that also right before Russia does these massive missile attacks, they're also watching social networks, they're watching for photographs, they're watching for conversations, they're watching for anything that can give them a technical advantage. And today that's been happening. Let me show you the air defense, then we'll get you your thought on that. Here, from the last attack, air defense taking out a cruise missile. I'll play it one more time for you. It's incredible work. So that's what happens. And people cheer because something just got protected. In fact, those guys were cheering quite a bit of colorful language, so I muted it. But you can see what happened.
What the comment about, like shooting down the missile? Yes, they think people don't understand probably when it comes about the shooting the missiles down or the drones. There's still the explosives in that, and I mean, yes, there is still a danger for the civilians and for the cars, for the homes. Not the same level as usually it goes to. I mean, targeting something, but people getting injury and the other, I mean, the wounds by right after. Sometimes this is why our government non-stop asking people to not to be in the streets, to not to be even at homes, to be in the safe places. Because one thing is like to be protected from the terrorist attack, from from the broken parts of the missile. This is one. The second, yeah.
No, it's a very good point. They don't even think about it. When they take them out, stuff still falls to the ground.
Yeah, it's still the same parts. Yes, it's much less power, but it's still a lot of like danger there. And I don't know how to comment that. It's our guys doing great job, and every time like this morning, or let's take the previous day, or we checking the news, what's going on, and in reality, everybody knows approximate time already in the country. Not the places on the border, which is close on the border, but like the places that we know approximate time of the when the missile can reach us, and we read how many of it was destroyed, like it shut down, and we read it, we think about it, and we're cheering, oh, come on guys, come on, one more. Yes, and it's like because this is the safety, and for us it was like for last time for Khmelnytsky. Yeah, sure, there were not much they sent to us, but all they sent, our guys protected.
Well, it's pretty impressive with that video there. Some people may not have seen this air defense work, and just wait till the Patriots get there. Hey, you got a hello here. I like this name, Mr. Wright. Good evening from Draper, Utah. Bože, Blagoslavi Ukrainu, Slava Ukraina, Geroim Slava. Go ahead, man. His name is Mr. Wright, so how can it be wrong if you're Mr. Wright? Thank you. And you got a thank you here.
100%.
100%. PGBZ, thanks for the birthday blessings. Honored to hear you nightly, to see your outstanding reporting and ministry inside Ukraine. Knowledge and wisdom concerning world's events is incomparable. Thank you, sir. And that comes from a legend. Here we go. Are the missile attacks so predictable by time of day? Seems like a bad tactical move by Russia.
Yes, and coming back to drones. Yes, the one reason why they stopped starting launching it from the Crimea, But the other thing, it's because the Crimea is not as protected. When our guys are shooting the drones down, which is, I mean, coming from the Crimean side, it's let's say they know the Crimea is not protected well. Plus, that direction, our guys did different. They created different systems. One of my friends, he was working with the whole company of volunteers, and they were installing the mics in different places of the city, and I mean different places. And these mics are programmed. Then it connects to computer, special computer, and it's analyzing nonstop. And they can predict. I mean, they can see and even calculate the next possible track of the drones because it has a special frequencies. Yeah, it's not a secret.
Let me clarify this. You're telling
Yes.
me that Ukraine installs microphones in cities,
Yes.
connected to special computers,
Yes.
that's listening to the air,
Yeah.
analyzing frequency sounds it hears to help predict strikes.
Yes. Plus, we have a special app in Ukraine, which what?
Chicago has those microphones to determine location of gunshots every day.
Okay.
Shot spotter technology. Okay, all of you guys are teaching me something. We can identify criminals and drones and missiles.
Then we have a special app in the system for all the people in Ukraine when they see, because the drones are quite visible in even missile. So as well, there is a special center getting there is a fast application with seems to me 6 symbols, and when the people somewhere, I mean, seeing one of that six symbols or the sound, they pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And this apps is connected to as well to GeoTags there, the geoposition and sense as well. So there is different companies are trying to do the best, helping army and involving civilian people for that to that.
That's fantastic, and you're giving us good insight. So let me clarify his question a little bit more and see if you can answer a little deeper. Does Russia attack at the same time every day, or they're random?
No, it's not the same time. There were. We had even joke, like, okay, now it's 10 or something like that morning. Okay, it starts or something like that. It was like that. So now it's not like that. About the day, yes, sometimes when the 7 days are, I mean, after the 7 days, we do expect, because they cannot do a big, let's say, strike less than in 7 days. Usually they cannot prepare it. Maybe a few missiles, yes, but not the same level. Plus, you see, they changing technology for that, the strategy. This time they send 40 missiles at the one place, the Kiev, and yeah, it's like the chance to reach the goal, let's say, it's quite high. And even then, our guys did a perfect job.
I would add to it that the other factor that increases the chance for strikes is the weather. Always being warned, if it's clear, forget it. But if it's cloudy or the weather's poor, it's a higher risk of these missiles flying. Now, being in winter, and if you've never been in that region of the world, it stays cloudy more in the winter. It's pretty cloudy, foggy. One of the reasons you fell in a hole is because of the fog. Not only dark, but you just couldn't see anything. So let's move over to Zaporizhzhia for a moment. Let me go here, and let's go here. So we're going to talk about this region now. I can draw the approximate line, which would be right there. But we really want to talk about this region right here. Guliopol and below Zaporizhzhia. Looks a lot like the Mykolaiv area, and just over the last 24 hours, humanitarian aid people in a normal vehicle running aid were shelled by Russian forces. This would be this, honestly, this looks exactly like what we do in these regions. The roads look the same. This is just a civilian vehicle that they're using for running aid, getting people out, whatever it may be. Two gentlemen, volunteers, were in this vehicle. And before I show you the video, I'm going to tell you, they both survived, walked away from it, not really injured. God protected them, and they were geared up. But a couple of things I want you to look at. Look at the shelled vehicle. And number two, look at the condition of the roads. This is last 24 hours, Zaporizhzhia. First of all, that's exactly what it looks like in southern Ukraine. B, that's what the roads are like. And C, I don't know how those guys survived it, but they did, and they're fine. But this is what people deal with daily. You get close to those front lines. It's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Looks like they're driving on pudding.
It's altogether possible mines, possible artillery shell or MLRS attack, and plus there is the groups of Russian, like small groups. They're like doing different kind of touristic activity inside. I mean, on the side, hiding. So anything, it could be. I mean, anything, attack from any side. Plus the mines. The mines, it's a crazy danger. Why people are still using these muddy roads? Because a lot of bridges are destroyed, and in a lot of cases, there is the only way to get there is just using that kind of dirt roads.
Yeah, that's exactly like the roads we drive on. You know, I will tell you this. When you do those runs, Zhenya, of course, is talking to all of our connections in the military, and we have a lot of them. Most groups we work with, he's communicating directly to the commanders, and they do everything they can to make sure we're safe. As time to come, time to leave, best route to take. So we trust them. I trust those guys, honestly. All right, I'm going to put this one up there. I want you to answer this. Can anyone tell me why pretend President Biden, that's the American side, but will not let Ukraine hit Russia proper when it will let Putin know that he will pay a price? It will also send a message to his people. Why? Because we know right now, NATO, but realistically, it's a lot of American politics and White House pulling the strings on this, and the whole world knows it. You know, we limited the range on some of the munitions we've given you. Yes, Russia's being hit. In fact, I can show you this right now. Another day, another fire, massive industrial facility burning this morning. This was the morning fire. This was from Vladivostok, Russia, an entire industrial complex. So daily fire. I've already got some answers coming in, and probably it's better American answers this question, but Biden's doing it as he's told, and Ricochet saying it's all about money. So let me ask you the question this way. From the guys you've talked to, and I've personally had coffee with guys, very good guys, that have told us personally they're working behind the enemy lines. They're working in Russia, told us point blank. So we know Ukraine has its work going on. But does Ukraine want to strike harder, like Belgorod, into Russia, Rostov-on-Don? Do they ever talk about that on the media or the news or people you talk to?
All the time.
Mm.
Oh, it's open question and people asking, and sometimes we're having comments like, "We steal our partners." I mean, they're stopping us, and I mean, and we depend on them because of helping with the weapon reality. And yes, sure, we would strike before these airplanes attacked us when they're flying. I mean, just crossing the Ukrainian border or coming with attack, or right after the launching, then trying to get back. Yes, with the weapon of the NATO countries, we could easily yes, to eliminate a lot of things. And yes, we would like to strike back. And yes, officially, in reality, our guys, if they do something, they officially telling this was an attack, like, with the sea drones and so on. So nobody was hiding that we did it. And we won, like the Moscow ship. We did it, and it was like nothing to hide. But yeah, there is limits in different ways, political limits, and okay, coming to the United Nations today, starting to create a pressure on Europe. Seems to me today, Europe Union to unblock the supplying of fertilizer from Russia. It was under the sanctions, and now there is a power creating a pressure, put the pressure on Europe Union, and it's almost done. Money.
It's money, and much of the world still sees Ukraine. I hate to say this, and I'm going to be there just a couple of weeks. I'm sorry, but as expendable in trying to contain Russia right now. That's what it seems. Jeffrey Burnett writes, what would be the downside to letting Ukraine have a nuke or two on the down low? And then guys are answering, not going to happen. But in regard to that question, Jeff, let me tell you what just came out of Germany in the last few hours. Chancellor Scholz said that Germany would not be transferring modern tanks to Ukraine. He said today, we cannot transfer modern tanks because we need them for ourselves and for our NATO responsibilities. We will send them some older tanks. It's the same thing we've been talking about. And, a nuke or two, we can't even get a tank, a good tank. We can get trash, but we can't get a good tank. So it's just a major problem everywhere. Now, you just saw the roads down in Zaporizhzhia. Tonight, we're going to reveal one of the great videos that Zhenya was able to shoot with a man named Sasha when he was making a run. You're going to see a village. I'm going to show it to you now. It's no problem. We're good. Let's go here. And of course, you guys know the city of Mykolaiv here in the center. And then, of course, right below it, we have Kherson. And this is a region we do a massive amount of work. And when I say we, that's all of us together. Of course, one of the key areas is Snigorivka here. But above Snigorivka, you're going to see a little town village called Chervona Dolina. And this is where Zhenya was with Sasha. Let me go to a satellite view just so people can see it. So you can see how rural it is normally. Now I'm going to zoom in to Chervona Dolina. This is the place, right?
Yeah.
Chervona Dolina. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
here.
Just take a look at this little village, folks. Okay. You've got typical Ukrainian small town, straight roads with the houses.
You can find the school, which is destroyed, and so on. You will see it on the video.
Yeah, we're going to see it. Here's the school. No, this is the government building.
No, it seems to me it's a kindergarten.
Is this the kindergarten?
Know. Yeah, I think so. And then the school.
In the school, exactly. Okay, so take a look right here. You see this kindergarten and this school, and you just see houses. Looks like a great military base here.
Kindergarten before. Okay, yeah, I see it on the left.
Right here.
No.
It don't matter. Okay. It's here in this
the people who will watch, they will figure it out.
They'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is this is a very, very tiny little village. In fact, let's just measure it. We're gonna have a little fun tonight, man. The entire length of the village is less than 1 mile. That's 4,900 feet.
And there is small part on the right side. You can see
it's right
kind
here.
Of lake. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just a little bit.
Few houses.
Couple hundred. One street. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So that's the town. And tonight you're going to hear the voiceover, and you're going to get the story of Sasha in the city of Chervona Dolina. Check this out. This is powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Nice to meet you, sir. Could you tell me your story, please? How many artillery shells did you get during the day? What were the attacks on the village? Okay, at first it was 3 or 4 artillery shells during the day. When was it approximately? In February? Yes, in February or maybe the beginning of March. For example, I myself seen that it was 3. It was right before my eyes. I've seen how a man died right here in front of me. Right over there, yes, right there. The house was completely burned down. Is that the house? No, a little to the right. There was nothing left of the house except for the part where the kitchen was. Tell me, did I hear you correctly? Did you say that the man was burned right on his own yard? So it burned immediately after the artillery shell. He was the first who was killed. Tell me, do you understand right that this is your house? Yes, was my home. This is what remained of it after the artillery attack. It was the artillery arrived similar to a triangle. One shell hit the back of my house, the second the front on the one side and the front on the other side. The impact was a triangle. It was 1:10 in the morning. Boom, 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 started 3 explosions. Where were you at that time? I was in the house. So a mouth full of dirt, dust. I got out, crawled to where the chicken drink water. There is a drinker for chickens. I washed my mouth in it. Seriously? So, and what? How else? Did you stay at home by yourself that moment? I was also with my father-in-law. He was with me. It just that he was more far from entrance in his house, and it turned out like this for me. Do you see there is no door for? Yes, that's how I see it. I've already roofed the house a little with a slate. Have you already collected slate somewhere? So I found and covered my house, and there was nothing at all, just holes in the roof. Everything took off and it flew right in the yard. Well, it turned out that the blast wave went and tore out my front door. You see that the metal doors are laying there and the wave threw them away. They're made from iron. Is this the door? Yes. That's how I got them out. And as the wave went explosively, all interior doors were smashed. So for about a week, I was picking at least that pollen. And it is simply was impossible to breathe. My mouth was blocked. I was laying on the sofa. I was just thrown off the sofa by an explosion, and all my airways and mouth and nose were clogged with dust and ash. And then you see the first, second, and third houses. A woman was killed right in her house. Is this the third house? No, you see it fourth. The first, the second, the third, and then the fourth. There is a big house. Literally, the situation was very similar to now. Also, the volunteers brought help, and only they left when the artillery arrived. Probably 10 minutes had passed. 10 minutes had passed since they left, and it flew into her yard. She died on the spot, and the wave hit her to the house, and everything in her body was destroyed. It landed a meter away from her. And when was the most difficult period of maybe difficult days? It was March, the most difficult period of March. What was the most difficult during this period? Well, it was shelling. Have you been hiding somewhere? No, I was not hiding. Some people hide if they have a cellar, and I don't have it. I didn't hide. That's what I'm saying. March was a difficult month with 92 artillery shelling during the day. 92 shells arrived in our village in a day. It was the largest amount. Were there rockets? No. There were artillery shells, and there were rockets too. Do you see there? Let's follow me. I will show you. Rockets flew to the school. You see, a rocket flew to the kindergarten, preschool, and to the school to rockets. You see, there is one store on the right, and the left side, on the left side, people's house were completely destroyed. Can you see it? It was also a rocket hit. There is a kindergarten, preschool, isn't it? Yes, it is. And there is a large crater pit from a rocket explosion near the school. And this happened just in one day. They were looking for the headquarters. Do you see it? This is a carrier of cluster mines and shells from the Uragan missiles. See, you see, it's empty? Yes, it is. The cassettes have already exploded. Well, you see, there's even craters from the explosion of these cassettes. Everything went flying, and there everything blew up. And here you can see the gable. Did anyone live here at that time? No. No one was in this house at this time. It had just been bought before that. Just bought it? How long has it been since the purchase? Well, how much? Not long. He bought it only in the fall. About 5 months before the war? Yes. In the winter, when the war started, he installed a new window right before the war. Did he install it in the winter? Yes. And do you see there? There is a projectile flew directly into the room. The last projectile flew directly into the room. What is your name? Sasha. Sasha told us a story and shared the story of his life a little. Thank you, Sasha.
Well, bud, excellent work there. Now, got a question come in, and I'll give that in a second. But, that's one little village. Now multiply that by 1,000, because that's the little towns in these rural areas. in all these occupied territories that have been destroyed.
For that place, think about that. That place was not under occupation. The next one was. And some people, I mean, I can maybe other day I can share the video of the non-stop video without pause of the streets, how it looks like. Because we like in the end you could see the parts of fragments of videos. It's from the same place, same village, and I have separately. I can show you that crater the from the S300, and the other one, the school, the close up school buses, and I mean. It could be the long just the video, the long video, just with the things like, I mean, which is destroyed. We found the places where people were staying the whole war time, and this all of that time. Plus, remember that place, people living without electricity since March 17 until now. And they will not have electricity, looks like, until the spring.
Greg Berry says, notice Sasha was still able to smile in the face of adversity. Sasha's a survivor. And Jeff, let's see here. I've got it here. So I see your first of all, Jeff, co-friend, thank you for your service there, Semper Fi. I'm assuming you're a U.S. Marine. That not much damage for a war zone. You'll have to take it from us unless you've been there. It's a lot of damage. He says, I wish you showed what that area looked like before the attack. Well, we were not expecting the war to go to this level, but we can answer it, and I can probably give you insight on that. Ukrainian villages are typically more beautiful than Ukrainian cities. People in the village, it's all they have. Their homes are painted beautifully. They have yards. They work on their vegetation, their gardens. They have grapes. The villages are beautiful. So when you see that destruction, that is all from the war. No other way to describe it. Villages are like a Ukrainian pride. A lot of city dwellers go to the village for the summer. They go to their dachi. They go to their summer house. These are beautiful towns. This is all these people have, and they're very prideful in their towns. So hopefully that helps clarify a little bit.
And I would add one more thing. Mm-hmm. We were not trying, in that video, we are not trying to show the ruins. We were showing the life stories from the people we were giving the food sets. And there is 2 roads to that village. Both roads are with the mines. And we just sent there like polyethylene films for they could cover their windows. This morning they got it. In that area, and volunteers started to work. So if you want like to see ruins, it can be like any video, like I mean, choose the region.
Exactly.
We are not hunting not hunting for I mean, because there is places like, I mean, the closest place is Shiroke. One person stayed living, because 100% of the buildings are destroyed on that street.
Well, we're going to show something about Mariupol and about the power of the propaganda. And Jeff, I appreciate your comment, your question. We're trying to educate people. So thank you for letting us answer it, because understandable.
Yeah.
Ricochet says, Russia activates nuclear ICBM Rs-24 Yars. We covered that, but he says now the Avangard intercontinental hypersonic. Typical. This is what they're going to do. Let's go to Mariupol, for example. Let's go to Mariupol, talking about the devastation. We literally could show hours of video of a city 90% destroyed. 90% destroyed. Mm-hmm. We want to be completely accurate. 90% gone. Now, I'm going to show you a video from Russian media showing what they're doing in Mariupol. And then right after that, I'm going to show you the truth of Mariupol. Let's do that one now. Let's go to Mariupol. Here's Mariupol Madness out of Moscow.
Мариуполь сегодня отстраивается заново. Это большая глобальная стройка. Это такой модельный город, по которому весь мир может наблюдать, как приходит Россия и что она делает, как она восстанавливает с нуля и восстанавливает всю инфраструктуру.
So, there you have it. Of course, that's going to be one building they do, and they make a spectacle out of it. You say, well, how do you know? We're there. We know. This is what they do. But what happened in Mariupol today in reality? We have this video reminding all of us of Soviet days. I've got stories, and maybe you can verify this, but I've got stories from friends in Ukraine and Russia that, of course, were there during the Soviet Union, would stand in the bread line for 8 hours, get to the bakery for your turn to come in, and then the bakery would say, come back tomorrow, we're out of bread. And that's the way it was in the day. It's also the way it was in World War II. We see what Russia says about Mariupol, but let's see the truth of Mariupol. It's a bread truck. So there you have it. You see the story, of course, the propaganda, but the reality is people are suffering severely, not only in Mariupol, but all throughout occupied territory. And this is what's happening in Bakhmut now, or attempting to happen in Bakhmut.
Yeah, and we will hear and see much more. You have to remember all the time when it's the Russia shows something. It's like just check the facts, starting from their president, who was changing his stories all the time, and he continued doing it officially, publicly, and it's everything there. I mean, it's the same. And Bakhmut, it's a place, for example, where the battles goes on. Chervona Dolina never had, like, let's say, real battles inside the place. It was all the time Ukrainian territory. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, I mean, but it was a place, just example, and I think it's important to remember. Take Chervona Dolina and take, for example, 6 kilometers or like 3 kilometers from the Russian position now, the right bank of the river Dnipro, where we've been. If you will check the pictures, it's much better condition there, because it was under occupation in a really hard way. They got it because of betraying, and from in Ukrainian army, yes, this is how they got Kherson with no battles. And yes, you will not find at this moment, let's say, in most of the places, that kind of ruins. The bridges are destroyed. If you're coming to Chernobyevka, you surely you will see the place. It's ruined. And but 50, 60 kilometers from that line, now, there is a places, villages, where there is no one house left. Mm-hmm. No one. Completely.
Yeah,
Wiped out.
We have a comment here, CZ. Many towns and villages in Kharkiv and Donbass don't even exist anymore. Every single home attacked in many of these places have been obliterated, literally wiped off the face of the earth. That's true. That's what Jane is describing. And there are other places. Honestly, folks, if we could get into a place like Severodonetsk right now, Severodonetsk would shock you. In fact, I can tell you, go back and look day 205, 210 of our updates, 190, I don't know, somewhere in there, when we were in Saltivka in Kharkiv. Every building destroyed. Every building crumbled down. And it's just madness what's happening. There was a question here. Andrea Shove, we'll stay on this and we're going to show Zelensky. Are they putting facades of buildings up everywhere, just trying to prove they are doing something? Meaning in the cities, or is it just like one and then they'll do a propaganda about it? You understand facade?
Yeah.
Okay.
To answer that question, it's easy. If you go and check Mariupol videos, repairing the facade would not help in a lot of cases. Okay, just check the condition. I mean, the buildings, destroyed, like 30%, 40% of the building completely destroyed. So, yes, there is some area where the Russians, they didn't throw the bombs and so on. Yes, but then there is a possibility, to restore the facade, and that's it.
Okay,
but go and check Mariupol.
Here, I'm doing
videos.
It for you. This is Mariupol. Look at the building destroyed. Look at the first floor on the left. If you can, look through the window. You see the little Christmas lights people have in there. They're living in this building. This is Mariupol today. The fog. The soldiers. Uh-oh. Look like they're coming to the cameraman. They're putting on fake Christmas shows. Repainting red, white, and blue. Putting up a Christmas tree. But this lady's saying, there's my house, and that's that building. Mariupol today. You can see the fog, the winter weather. And I can just keep going and going and going. It's just sad, but that's the reality. And Dan Freeman said, that bread truck reminds me of stories my mom had living in East Berlin for schooling. She was to be there 4 months and did not stay that long. She did come home with a piece of the wall, though. Oh, this is a good reply. And it's nice to have this conversation. That isn't a war zone. It's a war crime scene. As Russia pushes a genocide against Ukraine. The city, high-rise, and outer village are not military targets, simply terrorism upon the poor people. I think that's a wise statement. Well, there's the man. If you see the D, he knows what he's talking about. So, well, let's do this. I promised Zelensky at the end, and this is him just a couple of hours ago speaking. He gives a good call for more weapons and speaks about Bakhmut. Here you go, a couple of minutes of Zelensky, and then we'll close out.
Нагадувати, шановні партнери, знайдіть можливості дати Україні надійний захист неба, надійний щит ППО. Ви це можете, ви можете дати захист нашим людям, 100% захист від цих терористичних російських ударів. Коли це буде, основна форма російського терору, ракетний терор, стане просто неможливим, а це означатиме безпеку для українців, безпеку для мільйонів людей і стратегічну перебудову всієї воєнної ситуації. Чим менше буде можливостей у Росії для терору, тим більше буде у нас можливостей повернути і гарантувати мир. Вже готуємось до міжнародних заходів, які заплановані на найближчий час, як до політичних заходів, так і до більш глобальних, які охоплюють не лише традиційні політичні аудиторії, але й усіх людей світу, які цінують мир і готові підтримувати наш захист від російського терору. Все побачите. Також в понеділок відбудеться зустріч лідерів країн Північної Європи. Це Великобританія, Фінляндія, Латвія, Литва, Естонія, Ісландія, Нідерланди, це Швеція, партнери з Норвегії, Фінляндії. І це наші надзвичайно важливі друзі, важливі партнери, ефективні помічники нашому захисту. Тож готуємо кілька нових пропозицій від України, як посилити нас усі країни Європи. Я дякую кожному і кожній, хто допомагає Україні. Я дякую всім нашим енергетикам, усім, хто працює для постачання тепла і води, усім, хто ремонтує пошкоджені обстрілами комунікації і щоразу відновлює і відновлює і відновлює нормальне життя, якби терористи не намагались залишити нас в холоді і в темряві. Терористи все одно програють. Слава усім, хто стримує пекло у Бахмуті та на інших напрямках на Донеччині. Слава усім, хто тримає наш фронт. Слава Україні!
And to that, we would say, Gerom Slava. Real concise statement from Zelensky tonight. A couple of things there. Bakhmut is very difficult as the whole line there in Donetsk. But the other thing that I would pull out of his statement is restore, restore, restore. We're not going to give up, and the terrorist is going to lose. I will say, and folks, just think about this for a moment, and this is a fact. As Zhenya would say, look it up. In the last 24 hours, Ukraine restored power to 6 million people. That's impressive. 6 million.
Yeah.
You have power right now?
Yeah, I have power.
Good. So
I have power, and I remember how many people do not have it.
That's what JD always says. Always appreciate for those that might lose their life by cold overnight, pray as they have no one to speak of their plight. Well, we're speaking of it, and you are, and everyone else here. So we're very thankful. Yeah.
And
look at here. Jeremy Teeple out of Canada. Well, I'm glad, PG, that I've been here since, I think, 2 weeks. Amazing as always. Yeah, you were very early from Canada. Thank you, Jeremy. This is what it takes. Yeah.
I want to let people know. At this moment, there is minimum 3 places, maybe 4, where we left some amount of the food sets for people with the official contact or volunteers contact from us. In some places it's up to 40, plus some blankets in different places. When there is a need, those people locally, they getting this sets, that food or other stuff, the candles, and then helping people right there. So even we on the distance, I never shared it, but at 4 locations, there is the place, there is the sources for volunteers. We prepared it there, and I'm happy to share that. At least, I mean, about 100 in a moment, or 200 people can. It's maybe it's not much, but we're doing non-stop. we're creating this kind of contact in the places, these points where people can getting that source, that help.
Trying to do all we can to think ahead.
Yes.
Speaking of thinking ahead, I will give a big little thing here. But look at here. Look what's coming to Zhenya in my suitcase. We're talking the Arctic Pro muck boots. Big time. Look at here.
Yeah.
I guess I only need to bring you one now. No, by then you'll be all right. And yes, we got him too.
That's good. You have two.
We're all working together. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. This was a great, great, great stream. And how's he going to put that leg in the boot? It'll be healed up by then. So are you doing what the doctor said?
Yeah.
Good.
Stuck at home.
Stick with it. All right, buddy. Well, thank you, everybody. Great update. We like doing these, at least every 10 days or so, we can do a live Q&A. And I'm thinking when I'm over in Ukraine and we're in Europe, if our schedules get goofy like this, we'll try to do more of these even from there. It'd be very interesting. And we're getting set up, the streams and the updates from inside Ukraine, and we will find internet and find a way. Going to be good. So thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to support. And we'll be here until victory. All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. And thank you all the people who are staying with Ukraine and support us. Thank you.
JDO said, thanks for the Q&A. Feel very personal. Good. Good. That's what we want, and much appreciated. You guys are the best. So we'll see you in 23 hours. Really interesting stuff we're already pulling together for tomorrow. I can tell you something interesting is happening on Monday. Very interesting. And we'll update it on you. We'll update it for you in 23 hours. All righty. A good night to all.
To all a good night.